Hello and welcome again. Today's topic is Yakut vocabulary, and I'm gonna speak about lexical similarities and differences between Yakut and other Turkic languages, as well as about loanwords from other non-Turkic languages. The basic vocabulary of Yakut consists of words of Turkic origin plus a large number of borrowings from other languages such as Mongolian, Tungusic, or even Russian and other minor languages of Eastern Siberia. Despite belonging to a Turkic language, Yakut is not intelligible for speakers of any other Turkic languages. However, among them, the closest ones would be Tuvan and Altai. Both are Siberian languages. And then slightly closer than other Kipchak languages is Kyrgyz, since both Yakut and Kyrgyz were influenced by Mongolian. The basic Yakut vocabulary is of Turkic origin, which means that the most common words like numerals, pronouns, the most common verbs and adjectives, terms for body parts, family members, etc. So there are numerous cognates with other Turkic languages. For example, the word for man is kihi in Sakha, in Kazakh it's kisi, Turkish kishi, Altai kiji, Tatar keshe. The word for iron is timir, temir, dimir, temir, timer. I apologize for my pronunciation because I don't really speak any of those languages apart from Yakut. Although some other basic words are quite different in Yakut comparing with other Turkic languages. For example, the word for good in Yakut is uchugey, while many Turkic languages use the word, for example, jaksı, iyi, jaksı, yakshi, and so on. And for example, the word for house is cie, while other Turkic languages use the word ü, ev, ip, öy, and so on. According to some linguists, Mongolian borrowings make up about 30% of Yakut vocabulary. Here are some examples of similar words and cognates. Mogoy, mogoy. Sonun, sonino. Salgın, salhi. Öbüge, övük. Dalay, dale. Such a significant influence of the Mongolian language can be explained by the fact that during the Mongol Empire, the ancestors of the Sakha were most likely still settled near Lake Baikal, in the immediate vicinity of the ruling Mongols, being socially and politically subordinate to them.
Törnör sana memeso. Ol doyduga mehurum soq. Olin soğurunu soğuru diyen attığım. Çuga hatıbıt. Ağam tuymadı hoşuta boç ostartan çugas diye bite.
As the Yakuts migrated north to the current territory, they came in contact with some Tungusic and indigenous northern Siberian peoples. However, this contact has not left significant impact on the Sakha lexicon, and this contact situation is mainly characterized by newcomers in need of words to describe the fauna and flora they encounter in their new area of settlement. And this is reflected in the Evenki lexical copies found in Sakha. For example, some local tree names, Chagda from the Even Chagda, or Bolbukta from the Even Bolgikta. Or even the term for Russians, Nucha, is presumably from the Evenki Lucha. In the 17th century, Russia began its conquest of Yakutia, starting a new era under the Russian rule which later highly affected the Yakut language, especially its vocabulary. Russian loanwords occur even in basic phrases such as Dorobo from the Russian Zdorova, Bahiba, Spasiba, Bahalsta, and etc. Whenever a Russian word is adopted, it undergoes certain changes according to the Yakut phonetics. Thus, kartoshka becomes hortoska, свеча, чумечи. Some words sound so different from their origin that sometimes are hardly recognizable and may even seem as native. For example, the word sibekki, from the Russian цветки, which mean flower, or the word öse from the word еще. There are some obsolete Russian words that are still used in modern Sakha. Even now, Yakuts call ruble the currency solkovy, from the word tsolkovy, which is a historical name for ruble. Some linguists and other grammar Nazis suggest using native Yakut words instead of the Russian loanwords, which I think is a good idea because whenever one speaks Yakut, sometimes it just has so many Russian borrowings that it's even hard to listen. If there is no alternative, those purists suggest using highly Yakutized form of the word, which I can't say that I approve because it makes words look too pompous and spelling is just awful, as you see, and it certainly would make texts look bigger. Anyway, along with Christianization of Yakutia in the 18th century, numerous Russian names were imposed on Yakuts, and they also were Yakutized, meaning pronounced in Yakut's way. Some of these names may seem very old-fashioned for other Russians, but still used among the Yakuts. And I personally feel sorry for persons carrying these extremely old-fashioned names. It's like naming your child Ruth or Theodore, which, by the way, in Sakha will be Syeder. In the post-Soviet era, traditional Yakut names became popular again. Starting from 2012, it has also become possible to officially use Yakutized forms of names instead of Russian ones. So instead of traditional Russian-style patronymic Nurgunovich or Nurgunovna, one can change it to Nurgunvola, male patronymic, and Nurgunkyha, female patronymic. Obviously, it was mainly inspired by personal names from other Turkic cultures. And last but not least, let's see some loanwords from other languages, although I gotta say that some of them are presumably loanwords. And let's start from Chinese. The word for dragon, luo, could come from Chinese long. The word for writing, bichik, which is another Mongolian borrowing, could actually be originally borrowed from Middle Chinese word for brush, bit. The Chinese word chen was adopted not only in Japanese and Korean, but also in Turkic and Mongolian languages. In Yakut it sounds as jing. Teng has the same meaning in Chinese, deng, equal. The next word, chemchuk, phonetically resembles Chinese zhenzhu with the same meaning. Baksı, which in Yakut is a very archaic word that nobody remembers now, could be a borrowing from Middle Chinese bakchi. There are some other borrowings such as babur from Persian babar, meaning tiger. Kudai, a common Turkic word, also originated from Persian. Some researchers even compared the word tebih, which means coffin, to the Arabic word tabut, and mani, meaning luxurious, to Sanskrit's mani, treasure. Okay, so this is it for today. Thanks for watching, and if you have some questions about these topics, you can leave comments.